Over the next several weeks, I'm going to introduce you to the Clarity Coven, which is the founding members of the Rooted and Relentless Mastermind, my soul sister project to this podcast, as I like to say. This feature, meeting the Clarity Coven, giving them the spotlight on my podcast, and going deeper and really bringing what they do and who they do it for to life so that others can hear that, is one way that I chose to be extra in my own client experience. It was by offering this feature to the member. I didn't tell them what the feature would be. I hadn't even determined that yet. I just knew there would be a feature, and they trusted me. Trust always being one of the keys. They trusted me to carry that and to bring it to life. Over the next few weeks, you'll hear directly from these highly skilled entrepreneurs who are showing up and doing the work, who they serve, what they do, tips they have for the business owners that they serve, and any advice they give to people building businesses of their own. This is what stakeholder experience looks like in action. So buckle up, Buttercup, grab your notebooks, and hold on to your tits. This one is most definitely for you. Hey, I'm Steph Rubio, your go-to for no-nonsense chit-chat on growing a business and life that you actually love. Around here, we're rooted in who we are, even if we're still learning to love her, getting clear on where we want to go, and we're relentless in our pursuit to get there. We get into the nitty-gritty of growth in life and in business, money, identity, boundaries, healing, leadership, parenting, partners, and all the messy bits in between. If you're ready to grow on your own terms, laugh a lot, possibly cry a little, maybe laugh until we cry if we're lucky, then hit subscribe and let's get into it. This is Rooted and Relentless. Kara, welcome to the Rooted and Relentless podcast. I know you've listened because we've talked about this. Welcome to officially talking over here with me.
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so glad you're here. So I get to introduce everyone to a super special person, Kara. A spoiler alert on that one already. She's one of our Clarity Coven, which is a founding member of the Rooted and Relentless Mastermind, a little sister community to the podcast here. And we've been having a lot of fun for a few months here. Kara is probably one of the kindest people I've met. You have a huge heart, Kara. You love on us, you share it freely, and that is rare these days, which maybe shouldn't be, but know that about yourself. I know that you are the go-to. I see you as the go-to for simplifying people's tech. And I know that your super special zone of genius is helping people launch their courses right now, taking it from idea that's been in your head for entirely too long, probably, and actually making it happen and monetizing it. Instead of hearing from me, why don't you tell us who you help and just the kind of work that's lighting you up these days?
Yeah, so I love helping entrepreneurs. And a little bit of my backstory, I've been in the business space for about 17 years now. My son just turned 16, and I know it was while I was pregnant with him, I kind of got started. And I was doing more craft-based e-commerce type things. And I made a lot of business friends. Well, I did all my own tech and I just loved it so much and I was decent at it. And so my friends would be like, "Hey, I want to do this thing, but I don't know how to do this." I'd be like, "Sure, let me just do that for you." So I got to kind of be known as like, "Help me, Kara, I need you," which is why I named my business Help Me, Kara. But that's who I love. I love to take someone who I know has amazing potential and they want to launch this offer, this course. And that's kind of my specialty of courses because there's so much tech around courses. You're launching sales pages, you're launching email campaigns, you're all the things. Plus you have to build the course. And so that's kind of where I zone in because if I can get someone to go from idea to execution with a course, they're now empowered to be able to launch whatever they want to launch. So that's who I love. I just love helping people who know they have something to offer, but the tech just crippled them.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how you pointed that out because it, saying course is one thing, saying tech is another, saying like you have this idea, that all makes sense the way I introduced it, but you brought up a good point in that there's so much to the tech. Would you say that that's most likely why people don't launch
The
courses?
people that come to me, yes.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the people that come to me, and the other thing is, and one of the things that I love is I was a strategy coach for almost a year, and I took 1,100 coaching calls. And I dealt with mostly, I will say the split was probably 60% brand new entrepreneurs. They wanted to do something, they were still in 9 to 5s, to about 20% were seasoned entrepreneurs. And then I had some kind of in the middle. They kind of dabbled. But what I noticed was my seasoned entrepreneurs, they identified immediately, this is not something I can do myself. I need to hire help. My newer ones, they wanted to DIY everything. But what they didn't realize was when you launch something, anything, you've got to start your marketing plan and you've got to complete your marketing plan long after it's launched. So one of the things that I love is when someone comes to me, we start talking. The very first module in my 14-day sprint is actually start talking about it now. And I have a custom GPT I've created so they can start creating that excitement content
Yeah.
because you can't sell something that you don't market. And I think that's where a lot of that's kind of, I think, my differentiator in the market is I love the tech, but I'm also a super creative. I owned a paint studio for 4 years. I love making things pretty. I love all the strategy. I love all of it. So I don't want you to just launch a course. I want you to launch and market your course and be effective at selling your course.
Yeah. End to end. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. Okay, I know I started by saying you're the kindest person, but I'm gonna just put smart too up there because it really is the difference I think in success or not. When I see like courses and digital products is in a lot. Like I've seen people sell courses and they're like, okay, great, you stood up this new business and now what? Like you have to market and sell yourself. Oh no, you can just tell people you know. I'm like, no, you have to market it. You have to sell it. You have to understand what all of that means. And you're like, okay, taking the idea and turn it into modules is cool, but like you got to tell people about that. You have to attract them to you. That's marketing. Here's how you do that. You also have to sell them on that. Here's a sales page. So the tech, but also the strategy behind it and the techniques, that's huge.
I tell people anytime they're in my workshop, listen, if you want to sell a product, you talk about it until you don't want to sell it anymore because you can't just create it and then put it on the shelf. Like people
Yeah.
aren't going to know that it's there if you quit talking about it and you quit marketing. So even if you want it to be evergreen, as so many people say, it has to be part of your marketing plan
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah, you
So
mentioned that too, right? Saying that like it starts way before, you have to build the excitement, let them know it exists, sell it, but also after that, how are you nurturing them between those times, right? How are you staying top of mind and visible? Okay, let's keep the train going. And I want to ask you what is a misconception that people have about your industry or what you do? And maybe a tip
yeah.
for them. I don't like to just like name it, here's the problem, but like how can we come behind them and help with that?
Well, there are a couple different things that I see people struggle with. And even past the tech, like even before they ever have to touch the tech, they get in their own head that they think they need to teach everything they know in one course.
Mm, mm,
And that could not be further from the truth because at the end of the day, you want to take that person and get them results as quickly as possible. So I tell them in a few words, as few resources, you want to do it as quickly as possible so that that person finishes and tells more people about it. And it's a life changing transformation for them. The whole goal is that they consume that course that they purchase. You don't want them to purchase it and then forget about it because then they're never going to tell anyone about it and their life wasn't changed. You didn't impact them. And the second thing is people think it needs to be production quality. Like, I need this fancy studio. I need to, buy the best mic. I need to have the best camera. You don't. That's not how you get someone to transformation. I can't tell you how many clients that have been like, here, I don't know how to do this. And I've quickly gotten on my phone and I've recorded a screen share video with a voiceover. And I'm like, here you go. That gives them a transformation.
yeah.
And I always tell people too, I'm like, I want you to get started. I want you to record it. And then if you decide later, I could do that better, let's re-record it, drop it in there and replace it. But let's start getting people transformations today so you
Yes.
can multiply your impact.
This is so big. Just do it. Still do it well, but the transformation is what are going to leave jaws on the floor. That feeling that, oh my God, this is what I needed. That gets you referrals. And guess what referrals are? Marketing. So we just talked about this whole marketing plan. We're talking about marketing you don't even have to work for separately because you're working for it by delivering what people needed, that feeling, that transformation. I don't know a single person who's ever created something once and loved it forever.
Mhm.
So, yes, again, to your point, you're going to touch that website, you're going to touch that video, you're going to touch that social media post. Like, it's not going to be the same thing in 6 months. And you're collecting data and you're collecting feedback at the same time. You're actually seeing people explain their transformation in the form of testimonials. Now it's not guesswork between you and Kara, creating it. Now it's actual fact from the people taking it and you iterate. Moving without perfection is a lot of way that we approach this, just selling the thing because you can talk about it and plan it for years or worse, keep it in your head and that doesn't make you money
Yeah.
ever, ever. Okay. We've been doing this thing together. So this thing being the mastermind since October 1st. I'm curious if you had to articulate what's a decision or action or clarification that you're most proud of you've received in the past couple of months.
So I was thinking about this, and we, just so y'all all know, we had our mastermind the other day, and we all kind of talked about this. And so it's really been fresh on my brain. I think the thing that changed for me this year is up until this point, I've been the default parent. And I mean, I still am the default parent, but now that I have one driving and the other one, we go to get his license hopefully Friday. So we're really close. I am now able to work my business like a business. For so many years, I've heard entrepreneurs say, listen, you're not going to get paid like a business until you treat it like a business. If you're treating it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. And I knew that, and I was doing the best I could. But this is the first year that from January to December, I mean, I have been in business.
Yeah.
And my son got hurt in September, and I went from being able to work 40 hours a week or more, because we work at night and all the little end times in between, down to about 15, 20 hours a week. And it was devastating. But I saw also what it can do to your income if you don't have the right things in place. And so, like, my fresh on my brain now is, now you've done it a whole year. What are you going to do different in 2026? What can you put in place?
Yeah, I like you start to think about the operational efficiencies a bit more, I think, when it's like, okay, you have all of this data and specifically what you said about your son getting hurt. I don't want to skip over that and sound blasé. I'm aware of the situation. Your son is okay now. We talked about this when it happened. It's one thing to say you run a business, and it's another to say, okay, I have 7 days in a week, not, 40 hours, 8 to 5. For years, same thing. Like, I like structure, I like schedule, and I have kids. So, they're home at certain times. I like my weekends, all of that. But taking over care of my brother this year and the kids aren't going to after school, I went to like 4 hours a day. And I was like, I can't run my business on 4 hours a day. So another misconception here too, I think we could call this like running a business on part time, depending on where you're trying to go in the morning, where I'm making all of that. Cause we work, we are hustling over here and you can do that, but you can make your hustle smarter is what I think you're talking about. And spend the time doing it better when I do it more efficiently, looking at ways to just that makes it easier on you, but everyone that you touch as well too, I think. So I love that. Let's close it out here soon. One last question. What's one piece of advice you would give to another person building a service-based business right now?
So I think there were a couple of different things I thought about, but what I landed on was clarity only comes from action. And I see entrepreneurs not post that talking head video or not create that piece of content or not launch that thing because they're not 100% sure they're doing it right or it's exactly what the market wants. And I have done a lot of research on entrepreneurs who are crushing it. I mean, we're talking Russell Brunson, Amy Porterfield. They have a full graveyard of offers that they have discontinued. But what they've done is they've iterated and moved forward. So if you ever want to get to that level, you're going to have to start taking action. And the quicker you can take action, the quicker it turns to data and the quicker that you can get to success.
I'm gonna make this the promo for this freaking podcast now. I'm so obsessed. You're so right. I know it to be true too. Some people are waiting on something. You got to make the sales page nice. You have to clarify this full offer suite. No, you don't. You have to be really clear on the transformation you're going to give and give it to them, whether that's in a Google document or some beautiful course with different videos that you're going to change later. Take the action, scary or not, is how I would say that, right? Gonna be scary. Is it ever not gonna be scary? We'll let you know if it's ever not scary, but the point is that we're doing it and we're iterating, and that's lasting success. I like the graveyard. I like how you said the graveyard. A graveyard of offers. So let's think about it like that. Me and Kara are inviting you to go build your graveyard, your future graveyard of offers.
Can I say something? Because I want to say this and you can put it in the recording or you don't have to. So I have been running a workshop now the last couple months. I committed in September to do this. And I'll never forget one evening I checked my messages inside the mastermind and Stephanie had said, hey Kara, so what I know that the workshop's not going great, but it's all data. And if you want to talk about it, like I'd love to talk to you about it. And I realized at that moment, because I think you were afraid I was disappointed or upset, and the old me would have been. the old me would have been. And I realized at that moment, I'm like, I'm not disappointed. It's data. And I know that something is going to land, that I just have to keep going. I'm going to keep iterating my message. I'm going to keep iterating the way I say this, the way I do this. And I'm going to take that and move on. And so I just want to say that is huge. And I love that you support us in that way, and that you're conscious of the disappointment, but you also help us reframe that whenever we could be down on ourselves. So like that is such a huge blessing. And I love that you lead us in that way.
Thank you for saying that too. I don't know if I even realized like how stark it was for you to be like, "Oh, this is it, right?" I'm okay with it. I see it as data now. I'm really glad because that's the goal. Think about it like a blessing. People think I'm crazy when I'm saying that. Be excited because you know what that is? That's now data. You went from 0 and guesswork, maybe doing some market research, and now you have people you can talk to, and you can tweak this thing that you think you might wanna tweak and see what happens. So, like, get excited about this pass, fail, success, whatever you're labeling it, because you brought it to real life. You marketed it, tried to sell it, tried to get people there. Regardless of what happens, it's not a failure, and now you can actually do something with it. Like, I love that. I'm so glad you got there. Yay! I love this. And you're continuing to iterate, and you're doing a lot of exciting new stuff in the year. So tell people how they can, like, stay connected and keep up with you.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram primarily. So you can find me every platform is just Help Me Kara. My website too, helpmekara.com. It's Kara with a K. Yeah, I love helping people. It's funny. I have people that will just book a 30-minute call, and by the time it's over, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like we need to talk more." And I love that. Like building relationships is absolutely my very favorite thing in business.
Go build a relationship with Kara. She means that. We've been having fun since we met each other the past couple months ago on Instagram, actually. So I'll drop the links in the show notes so you can easily go find her, keep up with her. If you're thinking about starting a course, she is a wealth of knowledge. So you can check with her on that too. And stay tuned. This will not be the last time you see Kara. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Rooted and Relentless. If it made you laugh, nod along, or grab that cute little notebook of yours and scribble something down, please hit me with the SSR, subscribe, share, and review, as in leave a review. Thanks for hanging. Bye.